Good evening and welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 85. I'm Ron,
I'm Shane.
Now Walker.
and we are going to talk about slot cars. And we have a suggestion that we should, at the beginning of the show, talk about and say what topics we're going to talk about so people don't have to fast forward through or something like that. So we're going to talk about race results, upcoming races. We have some tech com diameters on tech, and we have social media topics of I guess body painting and interior detailing, and whatever else. We've got the top 5 from last week to talk about, and we just started off with find us on YouTube, Slot Racers the channel. We have 85 episodes up now, some how-to videos, some special episodes. Find us on Facebook. Between the Lanes is the page on Facebook. And race results for last weekend and maybe a couple weeks before that too, because I forgot a few things. The winning report, the BRS, the Buckeye Retro Series, was at Race-O-Rama in North Baltimore, Ohio. It was our first visit there, this last weekend, and we raced on the 107-foot Chris Dad's paperclip track, and it was in pretty good shape. And in Can-Am, I was the winner. Terry Watson was second. Jim Pace Jr. was third. Jim won the B main and then finished third overall. Richard T was actually third in the A main, but Jim ran a few more laps in the B to pass him for the overall podium. F1, I was the winner again. Richard T was second. And the Boogeyman, in his first A main in quite some time, he was third. So there was like a lot of trash talking and betting going on and stuff. And no payouts because one of the bettors had Rich was going to beat Boogie, and that happened. And the other one was Terry was going to beat me in F1, and that didn't happen. So no payouts at the betting window. At the Salvatore Naviello 124th Masters, which is like a series of 3 races in Europe. The second round was at Corby in the UK, England. This was round 2. It also kind of served as a warm-up race for the upcoming Israel Worlds there in October. They raced production 24th Open Group 12 and 124th Eurosport. And in the production race, Francisco Igneri was your winner. Pavel Vlasic was second, and Vladimir Horky was third. In the Open Group 12 race, I guess it was a pretty good race because, Vladimir Horky was the winner, and he passed Piero Castriconi in the last minute of the race to take the win. And Luca was third. And then in the 124th Eurosport, Horky was the victor again, with Luca second, and Jan Zembeka was in third. The RMRRA, which is the Rocky Mountain Retro Racing Association, raced at Straight Line Speedway in Colorado. In Can-Am, Matt Sheldon was the winner. Alan Wilkinson on the right was second, and A.J. Hoyt on the left was third. In stock cars, T.J. Smith was the winner. Matt Sheldon was second, and Rodney Leffner was third, and that is Brandy, the race director extraordinaire in the background. And then in F1, T.J. Smith was a winner again, with A.J. Hoyt second and Rodney Leffner in third. The Gator Retro Racing region was in action at Fast Eddie's down in Pinellas Park, Florida. In the Can-Am class, Danny Zona was the winner, with Rick Moore second and Aaron Rothstein in third. Danny doubled up by winning the F1 class. Track owner Ed Hoffman was second, and Jay Gard was third. And in stock car, Aaron Rothstein was the winner, Rick Moore second, and Danny Zona third. That was a pretty close race. I think the top 3 guys were within a lap or 2 laps. So that was probably a good one to watch. New England Retro Racing had their last race of their 2018-2019 series. And in the stock car class, Gary Clinton Jr. was the winner. Keith Libby second, Dominic Luongo in third. And Gary Clinton pulled off the sweep by winning in F1. Keith second again, and then Gavin was third, and I don't know what Gavin's last name is because it wasn't in the race report. And they raced at Modelville in Ashland, Massachusetts. The AWRA, they raced last weekend in Archdale, North Carolina. And the junior class, Anna was the winner, Amaya was second, and Timmy was third. And Outlaw Legends class, Guy Spalding was the winner. Charles Eldridge was second, and Jeff Hilton was third. In the sportsman class, Guy Spalding doubled up by winning that. Matt Ashburn was second, and George Batista was third. And in stock cars, it was Matt Ashby, your winner, Jason Lambert second, and Guy Spalding in third. And the WAR raced last weekend at Thunder Road in Virginia. And the Bombers class, Bobby Prout was the winner, David Strouser second, and Brian Slaughter was third. Stock cars, I'm sorry, these are all the pictures I had, so they're not very good and big. But in stock cars, Bobby Prout was the winner, Jeff Crabtree second, Dave Gray was third. And in Outlaw Legends, Dave Gray was the winner. David Brandt was second. Bobby Prout was third. The Ohio Challenge Cup Series was in action at Washington's Slot Car Club in Washington, Pennsylvania. In the GT1B class, Eric McCarthy was the winner. Jim Harder second. Dan Halfhill third. You know what? I was trying to figure out. She's too young, I guess, for you, is what Dan's shirt says, but I'm not too sure. He's got his little plaque in his car there, so she's too young. GT1A, Eric Shirey was your winner. Greg Mayer second. Mike Lear in third. Group 10, Greg Mayer was the winner. Eric Shirey second. Justin Porter in third. And it was the same finish in GTP with Greg winning again, Eric second, and Justin Porter in third. East Coast Flexi Series was at Hanover, Pennsylvania. In the 4.5-inch class, Bobby Davis was your winner. Joe Weinstein was second, and G.I. Josh, that was the name on the sheets, he was third. And in Indy, Bobby Davis was the winner again, point off the sweep. Pops Davis, which is Bobby's father, was second, and Willie B was in third. And then a week or two ago, they had the Hard Body Worlds down at Slot Cars R Us in White House, Tennessee, Tracy Brown's place. And in the Pro Track class, John Martin was your winner with, I didn't write down. Mr. Covington was second, and Bill Gunderson was third. And then in Fairgrounds, it was Mike Loggins, your winner, Ricky Roberts second, and Tim Vinson in third. In Trucks, Mike Loggins was the winner again. Mark Stratton was second, and Jody Covington third. And in the NASCAR hard body class, it was Timmy, Kobe, and Robert, no last names. And that was the Hard Body World Championships at Slot Cars R Us. Buena Park Raceway had the Southern California Retro Racing Association race this last weekend. In F1, it was Sam Rackham, your winner, Bill V second, Dale Yamashita third. And in Can-Am, Duran Trujillo was your winner, Dale Yamashita second, and Mil Conroy in third. And that's your winner, Chicken Dinner Reports.
Monday.
So this weekend, the only thing I got on my calendar is Retro East is at Speed Zone, Mount Holly, New Jersey. And first weekend of April, we've got the Midwest Flat Track Series at Chicagoland. Penn, Ohio's at Northeast Raceway up by Erie, Pennsylvania. The ORS is at Mark's Model World, Canton, Ohio. And the Ohio Oval Series is at Fast Alley Raceway in Fremont. And the weekend of the 13th, you got the Midwest Spec Series. Retro East is at Port Jeff. Mid-America Hardbody Series is at Pro Slot. The BRS Buckeye Retro Series will be at HMS to race on the orange track. And the following weekend, which is Easter weekend, the only thing I have on my calendar is the OCC. Ohio Challenge Cup Series is at Race-O-Rama, and USCA is in action that weekend. And then the week after that is the Scale Mats, along with some other races. So on social media, so at the race at Corby, of course, they posted pictures of the cars and stuff. And I think this was the lineup for Open Group 12, maybe.
Oh, that's
And,
good color disparity.
I believe this was the A main. It didn't really say, but I think this was the A main. And of course, this picture was posted and various comments. And one of the comments was, sadly, people have no pride in detailing anymore in their race cars. And of course, there was other comments. And I think the comment was kind of pointed at paint jobs and our interiors in the cars. Now, I don't know if this was the winning car, but that was the driver detail that was drawn onto the car. So,
nice.
Hey, 3 colors.
I mean, it looks like something I
the
do.
rules require a three color interior. There you go. I mean,
I want to.
Got the green helmet, red belts, and a black steering wheel. I mean,
hey.
So, this is like the age-old argument. I've had a few of my beautiful cars involved in these conversations in the past. So, I guess if the car, okay, here's my take on it. Like so many things in slot car racing, each individual, it's their decision to do what they want within the rules, okay? Like, some guys paint really nice cars. Some guys don't. But as long as they're within the rules, what does it matter? But I guess when, a one-color paint job with minimal interior detail winds up winning, then a lot of people complain about it. But
I mean, there's not really a driver mold for them to go off of there. So,
well, okay, like in this case, I don't know exactly what the rules were, but if the rules required a 3D interior, then that's not a 3D interior. Okay, so no driver's molded in, but if you have to run a 3D interior, then you have to cut out the opening for the interior and put an interior in there. It's 3D. So, but what I'm getting at is how a guy paints his car or paints his interior or details whatever his car interior. It's not a performance issue. Like if I beat Walker because my car is one color and Sharpie numbers and drawn on driver, and that's within the rules, and I win, then he probably shouldn't complain about that because that's really not why he probably got beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a performance thing.
You do it, especially in like Eurosport, because you want your body to be as thin as possible.
Oh yeah.
So you don't want to fill it with paint. So.
No, but you can paint nice and light.
Yeah.
It's just as well as you can do a one color that's. But I think the most racers realize that this body is only going to be ran one race. Especially when you like I said, in Eurosport they run 5,000 bodies. The body's going to be trashed at the end of the race. Why do you want to put 19 hours in this nice detailed paint job to then run it for 40 minutes and put it in the trash can?
Yep.
And if a guy what? No matter what the rules are, everyone's welcome to do what they want to do. If they want to paint this beautiful body and this really nice interior, hey, go for it. I mean, that's your choice. But it's really not a performance issue. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And I guess if you're running a car with a molded-in cockpit or driver, you can take some extra time and, draw some more detail, as far as seat belts and steering wheels and stuff using different color Sharpies or paint or whatever. And, then some guys, they just kind of take it to the extreme on interiors, like make it really nice like this example.
Just send it.
Just send it.
Yeah. One color, a couple dots on the driver that are 3 different colors, send it.
Right.
Sharpie number 1s.
Right. But I mean, that car right there could win a race just as easily as the same thing, painted one color.
Yeah.
In a minimum detailed interior.
It's just how much time people want to put into a one race body.
Right.
And
it's not, you know what? Some guys like looking good on the track, and some guys,
yeah.
I
mean,
like, race it one time, I'm gonna throw it away.
My Nats bodies will be 4 different colors, but it's still gonna be like no paint. It's just
gonna meet the rules.
Yeah, as long as it meets the rules, that's all that matters.
Gonna meet the rules. Okay. Shane, you got anything to say?
No.
No. I mean, Shane shows up with nice race cars, nice, paint jobs and stuff, and he wins races. Yeah. But if he gets beat by a one color kind of thing, he doesn't cry because it's. Well, you put your into his
I've always said people will never remember who won concourse; they remember who wins the race. So
exactly.
I mean, back whenever I first started racing our series, I liked to have a nice body on the car just because it just felt good. Because it's like, all right, if your car's fast and you got a nice body on it, then it looks good.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I'm always been, the prettiest car don't always win, and the ugliest car don't always lose.
Yep. You don't have to be pretty to go fast.
I mean, the last race I won, it was a throwback,
Yep.
Orange number 1, and I won with it. That was it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, usually my bodies, like Nat's bodies, I'll paint normal, but I mean,
big races I put a little bit more effort into just because it's a big race,
Yeah.
And
but
2, you don't really know who's using what color and what kind of combination.
Yeah.
So I kind of have colors may be used, but how I paint them, I haven't seen too many people follow that same design.
And like the red, the white, the blue fade, I'm like one of the only people that runs it. And like Flexipalooza, I was the only car that was red, white, and blue.
Right. So, I ran my normal candy cane colors, but now that the track's white, I can't really use that because the white blends in.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably race a white car because I practiced with a white car and I was fine. I let Bobby practice with it, and Bobby's like, I don't see how you can see that damn thing. I was like, it's got pink numbers. He's like, yeah, I can't see that.
Yeah, I raced a white car a couple of weeks ago, weekly, and it was fine. Just I'd rather have a dark car so I can see it a little better.
But see, like on your track with it being white, I forget who I talked to. I think I would rather have a dark colored car over a bright colored car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, mine will be predominantly red and blue with a little bit of white.
And you're not.
I've been running that raspberry.
And you're not testing unless you paint them bodies on the outside with primer, gray primer.
I had one of those painted like that before that I tried.
Hey, I've won concourse with a matte black body from Bobby B.
Yeah, back when he was running flat black.
Yeah, he'd always give me a body to run scale, and I'd always win concourse with it. Thanks, Bobby. I won a lot of concourse because of you. I appreciate it.
That's the thing is Bobby used to, he about a week or 2 ago, he was kind of giving me some grief because he was like, why don't you paint some nice bodies? I was like, why? And he's like, because you do good work. And I was like, dude, I don't have time for that anymore. Back when I was painting what I felt was concourse winning bodies, I had time. Now it's just like, nah, I could care less, I mean, every now and again I'll get a wild hair and it's just like, all right, I got some free time. And generally if the airbrush is cooperating and the juices are flowing, I'll rip out some good bodies. If not, then they may be all white, they may be all orange.
Rattle can it.
Oh yeah, I got my rattle cans over here.
All you gotta do, rattle can, 3 colors, put some stickers on it. You're set.
I mean, I've painted them in the hotel bathrooms before because I've gotten bodies that night from Ron.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
My
All right.
bodies were painted at the Flexipalooza.
So, so
Well, that's like, okay, when we went down to, when we had the Pro Flexi Challenge at,
yeah,
Yeah, you had to paint a body.
yep. That was the
I
first
didn't
time
take
I
off.
painted a car at the track in a long time.
You know, I got mask. No, oh, I got a wheel dot. There you go.
All you need them.
It worked.
Okay, so on Tech Talk,
Yeah, boy.
we're going to talk about comm diameters. So, yeah, I get a lot of times I'll get people message me and ask me about comm diameters and, general rule of thumb. If you buy an American-made armature, like for example, like all your C-can armatures, all your open armatures, Group 27s and stuff, comms are made by the manufacturers, and they're basically, the standard for many years was the Kirkwood comm. So any comm that's been manufactured, produced since the days of the Kirkwood going away, basically when you get a brand new armature out of the tube, the comms are anywhere from 200 to 205 thousandths in diameter, because, they're bigger than that, but, the manufacturer
Yeah, average.
arms welds it, then they true the comms and they balance the arms. So, depending on whose comm it is, some comms don't, get cleaned up at 200 thousandths. Some other comms they'll clean up around 205 or something. So when your arm is new, the comm diameter is between 200 and 205 thousandths. So the question always is, how many times can I true the commutator? Well, that depends on how much you use the arm and how often you have the comm trued or you rebuild your motors, because I've seen arms where they were brand new. A guy put it in his motor. He ran his motor forever. Then he's like, well, I think I'm going to get my armature rebalanced, and takes it out, sends it in. Well, by the time you can get the commutator true, because there's such a big trench in it.
It's hourglass.
Yeah. You get down to the plastic or the resin that's molded into the copper shell to keep it from flying apart. And once the arm is what we call tabbed, or shows plastic between the plates, you can't use it anymore. So general rule of thumb is, like, there's a new armature with a new commutator. Like I said,
Hey, that looks
from
familiar.
200 to 205 thousandths. There's like an armature with a 200 thousandths diameter comm on it, and there's an armature that the comm is 177.5 thousandths. Now,
That's a good one.
yeah, well, that one's on its last legs.
I bet you it rips though.
So the thing is, like, again, how far down can you go before it tabs out? So what I tell people is, when your commutators get around 182, then you better start truing them lightly, because they could be tabbed out at 181. They could be tabbed out at 180.
I've had one and that's 185, and then I had one that I went to like 178, and I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, the best.
And then I was afraid to race it because I was afraid that the comm was going to explode.
Yeah, the best I ever had after truing was 175. But the other problem is, when they mold the comms, they're not always molded
Centered.
you know what I'm saying? So, like,
Right,
you
yeah.
might get, say, at 180, you might get one segment that's tabbed out, and the other two segments are good.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I've
matter.
had that happen before because it's
Right.
not centered.
Yeah, you can't use the arm. So, and there's what a commutator looks like when it's tabbed out. As you can see, the dark lines here in the copper. Basically, that you can't run that arm anymore. It'll run, but I don't know how good it's going to run or how long it's going to run. But and believe me, I've had comms that have been tabbed, like up here where the brush track doesn't run,
Mm-hmm.
and the copper's still good here, and I'll run those. That's like a qualifying motor or something. It's not a race motor, but yeah, generally speaking, Like I said, when you get down around 182, you're starting to get into the danger zone. So to save yourself some time and trouble, if you're taking your motors apart and you're going to send them out to your favorite balancer to have them balanced, you might want to measure your com diameters. And if you're at like 180, you can send it, but you may get an arm back that's
I've had that happen a couple of times.
you can't use. Oh yeah,
I
anybody.
measure it, but my rule of thumb is, just for me, is if the arm meters it or measures at 185, I don't send it.
Okay.
Because I'm like, you know what I mean? It's that fine line.
Right.
Or I'll send it, get it balanced, and then I'll just cut it myself. That's why I know if it does do whatever it's going to do, I did it,
Right. And then people say, well, how many thousands do you take off when you're like truing a com? And it's like,
varies.
It varies. You don't know. It could
Yeah.
take a half a thousandths to clean a com up. It might take a thousandths. It could take 2 thousandths. It depends on, how out around it might be, and then how deep the trench is, if it's got a trench in it.
Yeah, another thing I've noticed too is a lot of people, when they true their comms, they say, "Oh, the comm's true." But if you look up there by the comm slot, there's like grooves where it's still not round.
Right. Yep.
So your brush hits that and it pops, and then that's not good, because then now you got your brushes arcing because it's hopping off the comm.
Right. So, and then another thing is, a lot of people will buy new arms and just like, there's this magic number of 195,000 is like what you should cut the com to on new arms.
Right. Now I've been to races before where I've done that, where it's like,
Well, and okay, so like any new arm I get, I will true it and I will run it. I don't care what the com diameter is, because if it's
I've gotten that
rocket at 202 thousandths, it's
only going to get better.
Life. Okay, and then normally as you cut them down, the arms run a little faster. Because you're changing your firing time and your duration, and so I don't believe in cutting a com right down to 195 and starting there.
I've had a good motor before that was like 198.
Yeah.
And I was looking at who was racing. So it's like, we're going to cut her down to like 192.
Yeah, I've had rockets at 200. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I got one good one that's like a 202.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that one comes out for special occasions, because it's just like, it's one of those ones you just take notes on. It's like, I've been to 4 different tracks, and that one always performs.
Right. So, like I said, now I'll tell you another case. One time I had a guy who had 4 Group 12 arms, and I balanced them and cut the comms. They were probably around 200. He went and ran them, and he came back and he said, well, these 3 ran really good, but this one, it just doesn't run. He goes, I don't think the balance is right or whatever. And I'm like, all right, I'll check it. I checked it, and the balance was fine. So we retrued the comm, and I said, well, go run it again, and maybe it'll pick up. So he went and ran it again, and he's like, no, this thing's still, they all meter the same, they all balance the same, they all time the same, but he just had this one arm of those 4 that just would not run. So after the second time, I said, well, all I had to do is let's just cut it down to 195 and see if it picks it up.
Right.
Didn't pick it up. Came back, he's like, I said, all I tell you to do is we'll just take her down to let's just go to 192.
Right.
Now, his other 3 are still like up around 198, 199, and they're faster. And we cut that 4th arm to 192. He said, boy, that really woke it up.
Yeah.
Why does that do that? And I said, well, if I knew that, I'd probably be a millionaire. But it makes
all have their sweet spots.
Right. It just makes
I've had them before that ran like a scalded dog, thinking, okay, well, I'm going to balance it and I'm going to true it. It's going to get better. Nope.
Sometimes they don't. Right.
It's like, why did I ever do that?
Yep.
So I had a motor in rotation that no matter what, I always ran it. And every time I was like, I know this thing ain't going to get out its own way, but it could be its day.
Right.
And then finally one day I got to that motor and I was like, well, let's just see what it does,
Right.
Put it in there, and I was like, whoa, all right. Same scenario. It's like, man, this thing really came to life.
Yep.
So I was like, all right. So.
Hey. Anything to add there, Walker? Walker's just amazed by the technology.
I'm just
No, this kind of stuff here, we could have a 4-hour show on because this, this.
I know nothing about arm motor stuff, so
You just slap them together and put them in your car and run them. We know.
Oh yeah.
No play, no in play, just space and tight.
Yeah.
No, I got a little bit of in play.
Nah, you don't need it. It's a waste of time.
In play is overrated. No.
Yep.
or the better way to do it is just have as much play as possible and put no space.
Oh, those are the best motors because they run freer.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's like.
now that you brought that subject up about arm spacing in the motor, the standard rule of thumb is ball bearing motors you run a little tighter than you would an oil light bushing motor. And that's kind of what I went with for years. And I mean, basically, when I space, I guess ball bearing motors, I'm looking for 5 to 7 thousandths.
Both ends.
Both ends.
Or overall.
Well, yeah, I go 5 this way, 5 that way, and then with oil light motors, usually it's 10. But the thing is, like as you run the motor, the spacers. They
disintegrate, yeah. Because I've had that happen before with 3,000.
Yeah, they turn to dust.
Yeah, because if I have a motor that requires a 3,000 spacer to make it right, I try to put a thicker spacer over it because I know, you know what I mean?
Right. And then, I've had motors that I've raced in a race. You come home and it's like, wow, these things got a ton of spacing in them.
Yeah.
And I've taken it apart, respaced it, and ran another race before maybe I balanced it or trued it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Generally, I rebuild my motors after every race, whether I race them or not. Even if I practice them, I'll take them apart and cut the comm and check the balance. And
I don't race built motors anymore enough to do that. So it's just like I'm sitting here getting motors ready for the Nats, and it's like, which motors do I want to send?
Right. Well, a lot of people run sealed motors, and they wonder why they slow down over time. And it's a combination of a lot of things. I mean, your commutator's getting worn. Maybe it's glazed a little bit. Maybe it's starting to get bent. Springs could be getting weak. Magnets are getting weak because you're not re-zapping the motor because you can't tear it apart to re-zap the motor. I mean, you can zap it together, but
you don't know if you're helping or hurting it.
And then you're getting all this spacing in there because the spacers are wearing away. And,
right.
It's getting full of dirt and gunk and everything else. So, But
then when you finally do get to take it apart, you take your finger and rub the inside of it, and you realize, wow, that's a lot of oil and grease.
Yep, and carbon and everything else in there.
Yeah.
All right. We can talk about that more later on another show. I think this is the moment Walker's been waiting for.
There we go.
5. So on last week's show, we asked you viewers to message the Between the Lanes Facebook page and tell us in order your top 5 slot car drivers, racers. And so we had 26 drivers voted on. We had 65 total votes cast. And I guess there was just like 13 people who actually did this. So I guess without further ado, we'll start with, and so the way this got tabulated was each driver that got voted on, his name would go on, and then if it was a 5th or a 1st or a 2nd or a 3rd next to his name in case there was any ties, which there was one time in the top 5. And then we'll just go on with this, and I'll explain as we go. So in the top 5, the 5th place driver out of the 26 named was Buford, Paul Pedersen, longtime wing car racer, multiple USRA national champion and world champion. Buford had 5 votes, and he finished in 5th place. In 4th place, it was Paul Goronsky with 6 total votes. And Paul, again, is he's the all-time USRA scale.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's the GOAT when it comes to USRA titles. So with 40, he was 5th, or excuse me, 4th. And he was actually tied with the 3rd place, Mr. Rechek. They both had six votes. Rechek had like a first and a second, a couple of thirds and a fourth to Paul's 2 seconds, 2/3, a 5th, and a 4th in the pecking order of how the people voted. And in 2nd place was Ron Hirschman with 6. No, I had 8. 8 people voted for me.
That's an old picture.
Hair.
That's an old picture. Yeah, I don't know, huh?
Hair, and it's not gray.
It's not gray. I still have hair. It's just not gray. All right, it's not brown. Excuse me. And then number 1.
Is that when you were married? Because you look well fed.
I was married at that time.
Oh yeah, you had the married look going.
Yeah.
He's got his ring on there.
I don't even know where that picture's from because.
Is that your birthday
I
weekend?
think Rick Bernardo posted this. It was like part of a collage of photos that they put on the wall at RGO, and he posted this on Facebook a while back, and it's like, yeah, that's a classic. So our number 1, and I don't think it's any surprise, would be Mr. Vladimir Horky. He had 9 votes. He had 6 number 1s and 3 second places on people's lists. Multiple-time ISRA world champion, the ISRA World Hall of Fame. He's won some big wing car races.
I forgot he was a wing car racer.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, all around, he's kind of won everything. I mean, Buf is a wing car racer. I mean, he's run some scale races, but he hasn't won any big scale races to speak of. And, Paul Goronsky's never won any big wing car races. He's ran a few.
Right.
And Rechek, I don't ever really recall Rechek running any wing car races. I think he was kind of retired at the time. Horky was kind of into the wing car thing a little bit. But Horky did quite well in wing cars when he raced. I mean, he always qualified well and was always usually in the A main. And other drivers that were mentioned in the voting was James Cleve, Jason Holmes, Tonda, Jerry Herbert, Brad Freisner. Brad Freisner would definitely be second when it came to wing car racing if we was just doing a wing car racing only type thing. Chubby was mentioned. Willie Custer was mentioned. Boudreaux was mentioned. Jason Dennis, Cap Henry, Matt Bruce, Duran Trujillo, Will Brinkley. The late Salvatore Naviello was mentioned. Brian Warmack, Paul Ciccarillo, Gugu, P.A. Watson, Martin Ellis, and Victor Thorson. Those were the drivers that were mentioned besides the top 5. So, hey, it's just another opinion type poll like all the other polls out there, who's the best of, and it's subjective and everything else, but that's the way the voting went. So
here's a question I have.
Hey, before we talk about
how long has he held the number 1 spot in Israel?
Well, actually, he's not number 1 right now.
He's not?
Rechek is number 1.
Is he?
Wow.
Horky is second. But, Horky's been number 1.
That'd be something kind of cool to know who's held the number 1 spot for the longest.
Well, Horky has.
Has he?
Horky, yeah. Horky definitely has held it the longest.
He's been the best for a while.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Horky, you could say, is the king of Israel. Even though he may not be leading the driving rankings currently.
Right.
Over the probably the last 15 to 20 years, he's been number 1. the majority of that time. So, yeah, because I don't think he's missed an Israel Worlds.
Gotcha.
And their rankings go for the previous 3 to 5 years. I think at one time it was the previous 5. I think now it's the previous 3. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
Right.
yeah, Horky has not missed a Worlds that I know of.
He's won a race in every Worlds, hasn't he? Or has he lost in?
I don't think he's won a Worlds at every. I don't think he's won at every Worlds. No, because not too long ago, Paulo Sergilio won all 4 races.
Oh, okay.
Down in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
That's the only time that's ever happened. He won.
Someone swept.
Yeah, he won the 3 individual classes, and
I'd retire.
he was the. Yeah, he was.
I'm done.
He was. Yeah, I go on that one. Yeah, and he was. He was. Him and I don't remember who his partner was. They were the winning team in the production race that year. So, yeah, Paulo swept.
That's a pretty good effort right there.
Yeah, that's getting it done right there.
Yeah.
All right, so last week on the show we talked about the bet for the USRA Nets and us 3, and we know that Walker, he gets 3 or more wins, and one of them is on the flat track. He gets a haircut, right?
If I don't.
Oh, if you don't win, okay, yeah.
Yeah, if I don't get that.
If he doesn't win, I'm writing this down to make sure I got it. Doesn't win 3 or more. Well, basically, you could win 4 on the Cobra and nothing on the flat track. You got to get your hair cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Walker doesn't win on the flat track, he's getting his hair cut.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, basically. I really want to win something on the flat track, so that's what I'm
Okay.
going
So do you know who that is telling you to get that haircut?
I think every slot car racer in the world.
No, he's talking about
in the picture. Who is that guy telling you to get the
okay.
haircut, hippie?
I don't know.
You don't know who that is?
White, buddy.
Huh?
No,
Should we
I
give
don't
him a
watch
hint?
movies. I don't watch TVs. I don't watch any of that. So no.
Wow.
Okay, wait. Didn't you study history in school?
Yeah, but I don't recognize faces.
Wow.
Yeah.
What if I said Tricky Dick? What if I said Tricky Dick?
You'll probably think Dick Trickle.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, what if I said I am not a crook?
Oh, that's Nixon. There we
Yeah,
go.
okay, all right. I don't know what they look like, but I know what they say.
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't know. That's funny.
Yeah, I know presidents from quotes, not from faces for the most part. I mean, like, I know what Lincoln looks like and all, like, the really important ones, but, like.
Now, Lincoln was the cool one.
He just pulls a $5 bill out of his pocket and says, "Oh, that's what Lincoln."
He gets it from his dad first.
Oh yeah, okay. Give me a Lincoln, Dad. Give me a Washington. Give me a
All I really care about is the Benjamins.
Yeah, there you go. Grants are good too.
Yeah.
2 Grants, beats a Benjamin.
But the Benjamins look better.
Because Shane's bet is if he wins 4.5, he will get shaved. But he got shaved.
Yeah,
he's
already done it.
So
it'll be back.
The bet's off.
No, it'll be back.
Yeah, okay.
Trust me, it does not take long.
And then with Ron, we don't know yet. We haven't really discussed it.
I had an idea. We were going to Terry Watson
Maybe
Brown.
we could just change the color of your hat. Make you not wear a black hat anymore.
Actually, this is like a navy.
I think I got it. You ready for this, Ron? This is a good one.
This is negotiable, but we'll write it down.
No, you'll laugh. If you don't win, you have to race the next Nats or big race with your pink pants.
Oh, that's easy.
Or your pink shorts. That's hilarious.
I don't even have those shorts, but I could go buy.
Amazon's got them.
All right, pink shorts. I'm writing it down.
And they got to be at least knee or above. They can't be modern. They got to be that era.
You still have that picture of me in those? Because we could have to post that up there.
I'm sure I could probably. I have to look for it. I don't even remember where I found it. I just remember seeing it. Like, what the hell is he wearing pink shorts for? I was like, that's kind of the era.
Yeah.
Where were we at? Me and Bobby were at.
It's kind of the era.
Where were we at? It was an FNRS race. I can't remember if it was Marks. I think we were at Marks. Yeah, we were. Yeah. Hell, I don't remember.
Well, didn't you have a pair of those pink shorts?
Who, me?
Yeah, didn't you have a pair? I thought you got a pair.
I got a pair. They're like salmon.
Okay. Salmon.
Yeah, I wore them at salmon, whatever.
Salmon.
It's good. I like it. I wore them at the Nats and what you call it, Chicago.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Those pink pants? I was like, no.
Salmon.
I was like, if they were, I wouldn't care.
Or salmon.
Salmon. So.
Okay, so Flexipalooza signups. If you are sitting on the fence, you better get off the fence because I think there's only about 10 spots left as of today.
That filled up fast.
Yeah, I filled up real fast.
The food is worth it. You will get your money back in food.
So the Flexipalooza is
serious. You're laughing. I'm serious.
Yeah. It is scheduled for, that's the wrong one.
I mean, we're all slot car racers, so, we all live for food for the most part.
All right, Flexipalooza is scheduled for May 17th and 18th at Mark's Small World, Canton, Ohio. This is the Mazzetti Flexipalooza conjunction with FNRS. Handout motors, handout tires, handout bodies. Well, I shouldn't say handout bodies. They send them to you, but they're marked bodies, so you have to run them. So you get, like each class you enter, you get 2 pairs of tires, brand new Scorpion motor, a pinion, and a body. And it
2 bodies.
Covers your entry fee for the race.
Yeah, 2 bodies per class.
2 bodies per class, okay. And so like I said, it's limited to 64 entries, and I believe we're at 53, 54 as of today. So there's only like 10 spots open. So if you're going or thinking about going, you probably better get signed up to ensure your spots, because I'm sure, as I was when it was announced it was going to be at Mark's, it would probably be a sold-out event. So
yeah,
there you have it. And a couple of guys that went last year that said they were going to go, they've already backed out. So,
see, I wasn't going to go last year, and then last minute I was like, yeah, I'm going.
Right. Well,
that's how it was for me too.
There was 2 or 3 guys that a week ago said they were definitely going, and then I guess in the last few days they backed out. So. I don't know how many locals have signed up either, so.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
Because he's easily got at least 20 or 30 local guys that race there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I talked to Mark the other day, and he said there was some of his locals were, they hadn't signed up. They're kind of sitting on the fence. I said, they better be making.
Yeah. I think whenever I signed up for Michigan, I was like 58 or 59.
Right.
I was one of the last ones as well. I think I was like last or second to last on a tech sheet.
Right.
Yeah, because I think I signed up, and once I got in, I think I talked to your dad, and he was like, I might go to that. And I was like, well, that'd be good, because you could be my ride. So. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of trying. I spent the couple of months prior talking him into it, and then the week before, he's like, yeah, we'll go.
Like as of right now, defending champion Willie Custer is not going to participate.
Oh, that sucks.
So that opened the spot.
I think he said he would stop by. I asked him, like, you
he
stop by? Because he lives like 20 minutes up the road.
He could change his mind tonight and enter too. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it'd be great
nice if you did.
But it's kind of a bummer he's the defending champion won't be there. But again, his choice. So
at least the Coes will be there.
The Coes will be there in the house.
Yep.
Yeah. You can bring me that plaque because I haven't got one yet. It's my turn to.
Oh, okay. You want it back? I'll get it.
Enshrine it here for a while.
I'll bring it with me then.
Okay. Well, I can just.
Well, I guess. Yeah, I just pick it up at the Nats. I'll let you have it for a month, then I'll take it back.
We can do that. No, I'm not worried about it.
It's like me and Bobby. We got whenever he won the Nats in New Jersey, I bought him like one of those little fake WWE belts
Right.
because he was a national champion. And then it was funny because whenever I won the Nats in Chicago, a couple races later, he's like, I'll be back. I was like, where are you going? He's like, I'm just going to go out for a minute. All right. He come back, walked in. He's like, here you go. And I was like, this is how it's going to be. And he's like, yep. I was like, all right. So that's kind of like our thing. We pass back and forth. So,
Cool.
yep. It's like
All
your
right, so
dad.
you-
What is it, turkey he's got for shooting pool?
Yeah. Well, that doesn't get passed back and forth. He just keeps it because.
Does he? Oh, maybe he wins all the time.
Yeah, he wins every tournament.
All right, so you guys had a big testing session last weekend down at the Slot Car Track Concord.
Mm-hmm.
Shane was there, Walker was there, Bobby was there,
It's the second one.
Timmy Bottoms. I don't know who else was there, but
That's about it.
you guys were
Yeah,
there
I think you
testing.
covered.
And would you care to share any? I'm not asking you to share any secrets, but is there like some generic suggestions you can give guys that may be watching and thinking, or they're going to attend the Nets, and maybe what they should expect? Like say for example, on the King Cobra, maybe gearing suggestions, tire suggestions. I mean, we all know this will change. I mean, it won't be exact because it'll depend on track conditions and things like that. But what are you feeling, guys?
I can tell you what body to run in Group 10.
Yeah, I know that too.
Yeah. And I can tell you what two bodies to run in GTP.
What two bodies to run?
Yeah, in GTP.
Okay.
And I can tell you what
All right,
body.
so stop. Let's start there. So I know you've probably tested the Bentley and the Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
You're a big Cadillac fan to begin with.
Yeah.
Are you still thinking Cadillac for you?
Seeing as how 2 weeks ago at the Mid-South race, I ran a Bentley, but my Cadillac was never cut out, so I never even tried it. I just slapped together the Bentley and raced it. So I couldn't really tell you either way.
Okay.
But I still love the Cadillac. So.
Right.
And the Cadillac's a little easier to get to inch and 5/8 than the Bentley. So if I end up destroying a few Bentleys trying to cut it out, then I'll just quit and pick up the Cadillac and cut one and go.
Ain't that difficult. So Shane, you probably ran both GTP bodies. Which way are you leaning?
Bentley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bentley versus Cadillac.
It's probably the Bentley's probably better, just because it's a little longer.
Okay, so like in GTP, then on tires, is it like kind of like no question that Wonder Rubber is the way to go?
If you're not running Wonder Rubber in GTP, you got a serious setup issue.
Okay.
Or the track sucks, one of the two, but that's not gonna happen.
So in gearing a GTP, I mean, like we're basically looking at. I'm just going here off to do something. We're looking like a 3.8 to 1 ratio, 3.81.
How many teethuses is that?
Well, that'd be like a 935. I mean, some guys are going to run 72. I mean, like if you ran 1040, that's 4 to 1. If you ran 937.
I always tell people it's hard to tell people the gear ratio because everyone runs tires across the board as far as
I mean, right, it would roll out.
You know?
Right. It depends on tires.
I run small tires. Like I run 680, 690 tires.
But see, if you tell them the ratio, 4 to 1, they can figure it out, roll out to get to that. So we're looking at 4 to 1. Ballpark.
That's the thing I hate the most is telling people gear ratios because it's like, well, I tried your gear. Well, what tires? What size tires did you run? Oh, I had 800 diameter. It's like, well, that's why because I'm running 750s.
Okay. What about GTP or not GTP? GT12 on the Cobra, like 8-tooth pinions for sure. If you can 4 pitch.
In 64.
64.
Yeah.
64 pitch. Yeah, probably 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
No 9s.
72 and 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's with the Bentley also. Amateur.
And is that Is that another Wonder Rubber class?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk Group 10. I guess we won't know. It's hard to do that one tire wise because we don't know if the track will be
that's going to
cleaned and
depend.
everything.
Because see, I practiced Group 10 one practice session, and I was on natural tires, maybe treated.
Okay.
Yeah.
This last time, I was on Wonder Rubber.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when the track's like super hooked up, a soft Wonder Rubber might work pretty well. But whenever I've tested Group 10, I was just running naturals.
Okay. LMP again. That's another class because you just gotta wait and see how your motor runs.
Right. Now, I mean, same with LMP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. LMP.
Yeah, it's the same way.
And then on the oval track,
anything you got in the box that's 790, just strap it on and send it.
And try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not giving anything on scale.
That's really the only thing I can say because.
Is that an 11 or 10 tooth deal?
Depends on what motor.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
yeah, because and I'm not using a decan, and I haven't tested a FK much, a truly built FK. So.
Okay. Okay. So now let's switch to the flat track.
Flat track. Smallest pinion you got, put them on, send it. 72 pitch.
Like on Expert GT12?
Yeah, 7s.
7 and 64?
72.
7 and 72. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that require a cut down shaft?
No.
It depends on the chassis because I have like one chassis. Oh, you're talking about the diameter. Never mind. I thought you were talking about the
diameter of the amateur shaft. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's all 2 mil.
Okay.
Or you can run a 6 if you run 64 pitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not cut your shaft.
No.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, a 7.
I haven't tried 64 pitch. I have the gears, and it was suggested. So I was like, oh, I might.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I've ran is 72.
That's all I've ran on the flat track, 72 pitch.
Okay.
Nice
And that would be the same for production 24th, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then what about JRL?
You run an 8.
With contender motors.
Yeah.
8 is in 64 or 8 is in
8, 68, and 72.
Yeah.
8 and 72. That'd be a 7 and 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GRL class would be pretty fun.
And then Eurosport, it's the same old 5.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Whatever works for you.
And if you're running 48 pitch, get you a 6-tooth 48 pitch.
I can't. Oh, you're talking about for. I was gonna say they're the 2010 Nats at Chicks, the 4-inch NASCAR amateur handout motors. I was second, and I believe it was Davis, the guy with one arm. His last name's Davis, I think.
You mean Bobby Davis?
Yeah, Bobby Davis ended up beating me for second, and I finished third in the amateur class. And they looked at his car, and Roger was like, I can't believe this. I was like, what's that? And he's like, oh, you can look at it. The body's off. And I was like, something wrong? And he's like, no, it's just amazing. I was like, what is it? And he's like, he ran an 8-inch axle, 48 pitch gears, stock brushes, stock springs. I was like, I don't. Because here I am all like maxed out with all the, I was like, well, that right there shows you sometimes it ain't, what you put in it, it's how you drive it.
Right. Yeah. What do you think you got outdriven then?
Probably.
Okay.
I think trying to remember back that far, I think a lot of it was, back then I wasn't aware of, like, what lanes you should be finishing on. I was just, when I first started racing real competitively, my motto was always, you got to race all of them.
Yeah, you do.
And stuff. And then, as I met you and talked to you and started going to these bigger races, I seen we're picking where you begin and where you finish has a lot of strategy as well, where you're, how well you could or couldn't do.
And it depends on the track. Like the MTT, you want to finish, in my preference, you want to finish on the black side of the racetrack because it's faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
see, if I remember that race, I think I finished like on green, and he was down on blue or yellow.
Yeah.
So, and that was on Chicks King, so he can get around pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I hate the worst one is starting in green, because then you got to finish in good old red lane.
See, I've did pretty well in some races that were on a red, finishing on, like at Middleton, in the LMP race, I finished on red.
Yeah, it's not, because I mean here lately, it depends on the track. Okay, like.
Because I remember you were telling me, Ron, you were like, your car was probably the best car I've seen on red, but I pounded and pounded laps on the red lane there, and I just had it where it was going good.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, because like for example, when we go to fast tracks and race on the 95-foot black, for some reason I like starting on green there. I don't know why. I mean, I've started on orange before. I've started on blue.
Right.
But I get around red and white there really good. So it's like it doesn't really matter in the race when I run red and white. But I would say probably the last 10 races that I've finished on red and white. Like, it's not very
right. It just hooked up.
Right. So like this last weekend, I mean, I raced on that paper clip, and I've only raced on 2 paper clips. The one at Pro Slot, which is flat. It's a dad's, but it's just totally different. I mean, it's flatter, much tighter radius in the dead man, and the donut I think is smaller smaller diameter.
Pinch or just tighter?
Just tighter.
Tighter.
And this track this weekend, I mean, everything was banked on it. I mean, the dead man wasn't, but it just had big, wide radius.
Right.
And so this weekend I was like, so I'm out there practicing, and one of the things I did this weekend, and the reason I did is because I never ran on this track before. I did all my kind of testing on blue lane, sort the cars out, try tires, see what's.
Yeah.
So once I did that, then I took like my third backup car, and I went out and I ran on every lane because I'd never run on the track before, and I didn't know if there was anything quirky or different.
Right. Yeah.
And went around all the lanes good, and so then I took and then I went over and I got my I thought, well, this is gonna be my race car. So I ran it on white, and I went on white as fast as I did on blue. So I'm like, wow, white lane is good, and my car is good. So came back to the track the next morning and wound up running what I thought was my second backup cars. It's like, well, this car is actually better today. Nothing changed except we slept, and the track probably changed a little bit overnight. But I mean, it's kind of like, okay, so I can go as fast on white as I can down lower. Because on that track, black was a slower set compared to red and white.
Yeah. So
I started on white in Can-Am and got out to the lead, and kind of everybody chasing the rest of the race. So then in F1, the straightaway is it's got some ripples in it, and we had to make our car so we didn't roll so hard on the fronts, so the cars didn't launch. If you got your car spaced right, you didn't have a problem with launching, but the car, you could hear your car boom, 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 going down the straightaway a little bit. So, but I thought in that race I'm starting on orange because I know orange is good and I want to get off to a good start here. I didn't know about white, but anyway, I got off to a good start on orange and went to white, and white was actually smoother than orange. I couldn't go as fast on white as I did on orange, but and I probably could have started on white and been okay, but I wasn't confident of that. So in one race I finished on orange, and one race I finished on yellow. So
yeah. See, like on our track here, because the red lane, the dead man's the way it is, and the donut
on the Scorpion, or not Scorpion,
on the Cobra. Yeah, and because of how our track is, the red lane is like it's hard. It's a little slower, but it's pretty much just as fast. It's just harder to drive because
right.
of how.
Well, you just got an old school tight dead man. I mean, that's the way they were when that track was built.
Yeah, and then the donuts weird because you can go so fast on the other end. So like whenever you're in red, you just have to kind of calm down some and just make sure you don't wreck as much.
You'll make laps.
Well, yeah, but if you're there for like the last couple of heats, you might come off a couple times in the dead man. And
well, you just got to go there with a big lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I usually like starting. I used to always pick blue.
Right.
Because I liked the blue end of the racetrack. I liked that side better. But so I could like get to a lead, but then I always found myself losing laps at the end because of the red lane. So now I always pick like white so that I can get that crap out of the way and then go fast.
Right. And then like, yeah, a couple weeks ago I raced on the American King. I started on green, I think, in both races, which was different for me on a King track, but I didn't really have a problem finishing on red and white. Or maybe that was that was the All-Star race. And I think in the FNRS race in GTP, I started on green because Jeremy took blue. Not that I'm saying I would start on blue, but I started on orange and finished red and white. But won. But I built up a lead, before I went to red and white. Maintained it on white and didn't do so well on red, but gave some back. But
yeah.
Anyway.
And also, like, if you mess up in red, if you do it at the start, you have time to regain.
Then the other people are going to go there and have trouble, so you got to capitalize when they have.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all I have for this exciting episode. Everybody else good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to pick a word.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that again. I never think about that.
Do we have any giveaways?
No giveaway. But we will have a giveaway for the guys who did send in votes next week. Because I was going to try and get a special prize, but I didn't work on that. So
Didn't do your homework?
No. And you know what? In all them top 5 guys, nobody voted for themselves. So
yeah, that's good.
I don't think we had one person vote for themselves in the top 5. So you want to pick the secret or the word of the show? Show a word.
Calm.
Calm. All right. So calm is the word for the week. Word for the week. Calm is the word for the show.
What he said.
Yeah. Calm. COMM. Calm.
Keep calm.
Yeah. Keep calm. Oh, yeah. Wear your salmon shorts.
Salmon.
Yeah.
Cam. I love it.
Calm.
Yeah.
All right.
What is it? Roger will eat sushi, but he won't eat tuna.
Yeah. I'll eat any day of the week before I eat sushi.
What's that?
I will eat.
Oh, yeah.
Way before
I've tried sushi once, and it's just like, that's not me. Nah.
Yeah. I'm not a big.
Me and my brother went to a place, and my brother was eating it, and I was like, is that any good? And he's like, man, I love this stuff. If you never had sushi, I was like, nah. I'm always worried that it's not cooked. And he's like, no, all this is cooked. Like, all right. And he gave it to me, and it tasted like a rice cake. Yeah. That was like just.
Well, you gotta dip it in the right sauce or.
Oh, he did all that. And I was just like, nah. It just tasted like I had flavored mud in my mouth.
Yeah, it's.
I was just like,
not acquired the taste for it.
Nah.
Not me.
All right. Well, until next week, which will be episode 86. Everyone have a good week. Have a safe weekend if you're going racing. Safe travels. Good luck. Hope you win. And that's all I got. Bye.
Bye-bye.